Opening for wider release this weekend in the US is the multiple award-winning feature from New Zealand, The Dark Horse, which has been lauded in its home country as one of the best films in New Zealand film history and stars Fear the Walking Dead's Cliff Curtis. So, is it as great and worthy as the Kiwis believe, and if so, why? I'm Leslie Como, Cinema Siren, and this is my review.
Cinema Siren.
Try this one.
See, you just lost your queen, bro. No wonder they call you crazy.
Mm-hmm. Take the queen, Noble.
Oh.
Checkmate. See? Be crazy. Burn the school down.
Don't burn the school down.
Burn the school down!
Don't burn the school down.
Burn the school down!
What do you say about a film that's now being used in New Zealand schools and has inspired countless kids to focus on the right path and leave gang ties behind? I'm going to go on record now and say this is my favorite film of the year thus far, an essential viewing for all indie movie lovers. But stay with me while I explain what makes it so good. In 2003, James Napier Robertson saw the award-winning documentary Dark Horse, created by filmmaker Jim Marbrook about Genesis Potini, a chess savant with bipolar disorder. Struck by Potini's magnetism, tenacity, love of life, and his ability to inspire, Robertson went after the rights and approval from Genesis himself to write and direct a feature based on his story.
So I always knew all along, right from the first moment that I met Genesis, and from the first moment that I saw him, I thought there is a stunning film here. There is a stunning, beautiful, rich, complex movie, because this guy is one of the most incredible, articulate, intelligent, philosophical, but complex, contradicting, eccentric characters I've ever met. And if he could be in a movie, if somehow a movie could fit him, then that would be such an amazing experience. So that was the challenge in a way, was trying to fit the magnitude that is Genesis within a 2-hour narrative.
In Robertson's film, we see that while battling the demons of his illness, Jen built a chess club for at-risk Maori youth, creating a team called the Eastern Knights. They wind up attending the National Chess Championships in Auckland. He does all this while struggling with medication and watching his brother Ariki commit his teenage son Mana to a demeaning initiation into the street gang he runs. By all accounts, Jen, who was nicknamed the Man, was a powerful force of change and had a huge effect on everyone around him. His joy and enthusiasm was infectious, his commitment energizing, and his influence has continued way beyond his untimely death in 2011. Perhaps that's why Robertson insisted Curtis go entirely method and become Jen, down to staying in character for the entirety of filming.
So one of the things that I really asked Cliff to do and wanted him to do was, it's like he's going to go to all this length to and all this effort to stay in character and to be real, to really be Genesis, with all of the bipolar, homeless kind of like aspects that come with that. So I did extensive rehearsal with him and with the other actors, but none of the rehearsal was ever on the script. It was never like on the dialogue. Instead, it would be we went through various stages of, for example, Jen and the brother, Ariki. So I got those two guys together and we role-played a moment of their lives when they were 5 years old. Then we jump forward 10 years and role-play a moment, a period of when they're teenagers. Then we go to their 20s. So it's creating a real history for them, a real background, so that when on set they're looking at each other on camera, there's a true history there. There's not something that's simply written.
Whatever the reason, it worked. Curtis completely embodies Potini. Many of the finished scenes are the result of multiple takes where Curtis channeled from the place of emotional extremes. Another brilliant move on Robertson's part was to cast many Maori non-actors, from members of the chess club to Wayne Hapi, who plays Jen's brother Ariki, and his volatile friends, many of whom were former gang members, some even from rival gangs. As Ariki, Hapi has an authenticity and economy of word and movement that belies his lack of training. The Dark Horse is inspiring, most particularly in showing Jen's perseverance in the face of so many challenges, but there is also a pervasive tension that nearly rises to action film or thriller level. As those who have ever known someone with mental illness can attest, for those with bipolar disorder, any day can lead to self-destruction or utter ruin, and that sense is palpable throughout the film.
Jen obviously is existing in a world and in a community and society where there's a lot of inherent danger externally all around that he has to cope with. But in a way, the greatest danger for him is his own mind and his ability, whether he has the ability or not, to try and control that and stay on top of that. And that, for him, almost the better things are going in some regards, like say with the club and the chess club, he's almost then neglecting other sides of himself that he needs to be on top of. And anything can happen, and, which was really how it was for the real guy, and it was really important for me for the film to have that in a sense.
Also, knowing Jen's story is based in real life, his nephew Mana choosing the gang life over chess, or his brother Ariki causing those around him serious harm are all real possibilities. It is that mix of tension and drama and the character arcs structured into the story that make The Dark Horse so compulsively watchable. The Dark Horse gets an A. It would be nice if this New Zealand export gets continued attention and praise, as those in the US and elsewhere are exposed to it. Genesis Potini, the man and his story deserve recognition. Writer-director Robertson and all the cast and crew of The Dark Horse came together to shine a light on one person who rose above his own struggle to alter the lives around him in a community sorely in need of hope and motivation.
One thing I do know is when Jen was with us, when I wasn't with him in Gisborne and I was in Auckland writing the script, he would call me every week, and I would always want to tell him what I'm writing and read it out to him because I wanted his approval, I wanted him to know, and he never wanted me to tell him because his opinion was he put his faith in me, he put his trust in me, and that was that. And
that sounds like his personality.
It's very much his personality. Once he believed in you,
it's done.
That's that. The deal's done. And he was like, I'm the chess player, you're the filmmaker, let's leave it like that. So instead, what he wanted to do was he wanted to sing to me, because he said he knew that I was going through a challenging period writing the script and I needed support. So he would sing waiata, Māori songs to me over the phone to just let me know that I had that support. So I would have him on the phone singing to me while I'm working, and every week.
What a lovely thing.
It was a beautiful thing. It was a stunning thing. And I think that, when we lost him, it was a shock, and it was just, unfortunately his heart catching up on him. But the thing that I feel most proud of in a way is that what mattered most to Jen was his ability the message that he had, and his ability to kind of help others and use his own struggles to kind of inspire others to overcome or have the hope in overcoming their own. And I feel like the film has been able to carry on his message in a way, and his mana, and his and when I look at only a couple of weeks ago, I was at one of the schools that's teaching the film and talking to the kids there, and these kids were described to me by their teacher as the kids that no other school wants. And but she said, like, for some of them they've never even shown up to class, and since they've been studying the film, it's the first time they've started showing up and passing their tests. And the kids gave me this pounamu that I'm wearing here, which they had blessed, and they wanted to.
What is it?
It's like a Māori greenstone.
Oh, okay.
And it's a sort of very special thing that they wanted to give to show, to reflect the fact that for them the film has changed their lives. So in a way it feels like what Jen was doing, the film is carrying on for him. So that in the end feels like the most rewarding thing.
And I feel like
the end result shows the best of what feature filmmaking can be. For Cinema Siren, I'm Leslie Conwell.